Good morning, everyone. My name is Safiyyah, and today I will be presenting my proofreading and editing analysis of a tenancy agreement. This analysis was carried out as part of Assessment 2 for Proofreading and Editing 2. In this presentation, I will discuss the main errors identified in the document and explain the corrections and justifications for my findings. The document I analyze is the tenancy agreement, which is a legal and business document used to establish the rights and responsibilities of a landlord and a tenant. This type of document is important because it helps prevent misunderstandings and disputes between both parties. It also serves as legal evidence if disagreements arise in the future. For my analysis, I focus on three areas: language, content, and context analysis. Through these areas, I examined whether the document was accurate, clear, consistent, and appropriate for its purpose. This is an example of the analyzed document. After analyzing the tenancy agreement, I identified a total of 49 errors. These errors are divided into two categories, which are proofreading errors and editing issues. This shows that the document requires both proofreading and editing, and not just correction of language mistakes. The first content issue I identified is redundancy. The agreement contains repeated tenant responsibilities in different clauses. For example, Clause 2E requires the tenant to keep the interior and exterior of the premises in good repair, while Clause 2G repeats a similar responsibility regarding the interior and fittings. To improve the document, these clauses should be merged into one clear clause. The correction helps eliminate unnecessary repetition and improves the organization of the agreement. Repeated information can confuse readers and weaken the overall quality of legal drafting. The next issue is coherence. Notice requirements are written in several different parts of the agreement. For example, Clause 2G discusses notice for entry. Clause 2N discusses notice for viewing. Clause 4E discusses notice for termination. And the final paragraph contains a general notice rule. Instead of scattering these provisions throughout the document, they should be centralized under one notice section. This makes the agreement easier to follow and improves coherence because readers can locate all notice requirements in one place. Another content issue is poor readability. Several clauses contain very long sentences, especially the deposit clause, default, and re-entry clause, and clauses related to law changes and modifications. These sentences contain too many conditions and ideas within a single sentence. The correction is to divide them into shorter clauses. Shorter clauses improve readability and help ensure that the legal meaning is communicated clearly. In legal drafting, clarity is important because unclear wording can lead to misunderstanding. For the context analysis, I identified issues related to clarity and legal style. The first example is the phrase "witnesseth" as follows. This is an archaic legal expression that is no longer commonly used in modern legal drafting. A clearer alternative would be "the parties agree" as follows. Another example involves the clause about maintaining and repairing the roof and structure. The sentence structure is awkward and difficult to understand because of the word order. Revising the sentence improves clarity and makes the obligation easier for readers to understand. These examples show that context analysis is not only about meaning, but also about ensuring that the language matches modern legal drafting conventions. Next is language analysis, beginning with grammar errors. The first example is "made the day," which should be corrected to "made on the day." The correction is necessary because the verb "made" requires the preposition "on" when referring to a specific date. Another example is "of provisional," which should be changed to "of a provisional" because a singular countable noun requires an article. These examples demonstrate how grammar errors can affect the accuracy and professionalism of legal documents. The next category is punctuation errors. One example is the phrase "time whenever mentioned shall be," which should be corrected to "time whenever mentioned shall be." The commas are needed to separate the inserted phrase and improve readability. Although punctuation may seem minor, it is important in legal documents because it affects sentence structure and interpretation. The next issue involves word choice. For example, the phrase "premium thereon may be increased" was corrected to "premium may be increased." The word "thereon" is archaic and unnecessary in modern legal writing. Choosing appropriate words helps improve clarity and ensures that the document remains professional. The final language issue is sentence structure. The clause not to do, carry on, or permit, or suppose, or suffer to be done lacks commas between the coordinated verbs. The corrected version separates the verbs properly with commas. This improves readability and prevents ambiguity because each action is clearly distinguished from the others. Proper sentence structure is especially important in legal documents because obligations must be stated precisely. To summarize, the tenancy agreement contains both proofreading and editing issues. The major weaknesses identified include context mismatch, content inconsistency, grammar and punctuation errors, and poor organization. Although the document generally follows the structure of a tenancy agreement, it requires revision to improve clarity, consistency, readability, and professionalism. This analysis highlights the importance of both proofreading and editing in producing effective legal documents. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention.